Wired Unplugged.
Hola, welcome.
Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Está bien? See?
Can you remember who was that like mouse, that kid's TV mouse that used to Alnumbre? Remember that?
No.
Oh, whatever. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 31 of the Wired Unplugged podcast. Jake and Aaron at it again before, well, quite frankly, a bit of a hiatus. And karma is already struck because we're both very unwell. But that's not going to stop the news.
Nah.
Yeah, we've got Aaron. You're away for a while. Anything exciting?
I am. 1 month. Yeah, just getting married. Just getting married and having a honeymoon and
enjoying Halloween.
Having a swim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Like they're all equal in your head there. Marriage, honeymoon, swim. Good.
Swim.
Yeah,
I'm a pumpkin.
Wicked. That's like the most exciting reason to go off. I guess unless you won the lottery, but that's still pretty cool. Anyway, so congratulations. If you'd like to congratulate Aaron, you can kind of tweet him saying congratulations. You can just find him on Twitter, hunt him down. The best way to do that is probably to find him tagged in the bio of the Wired Unplugged official Twitter account, because we've got that now. Wired P, yeah, we talk about that. We're 30 episodes in, but Wired Unplugged, whew, baby, that's our domain.
A whole different beast.
It is.
Whole different beast.
I say it's our domain, but unfortunately, like we have actually mentioned, it's not. We're not the keepers of the keys. There's somebody else. A mysterious entity runs that
Who
account.
has a grudge? Who has a grudge against us?
It's like having a ghost in an attic. Do you know, like Captain Howdy?
Rattling the chains.
Yeah, exactly. We just do what we can to kind of appease the powers that
Thank
be.
you for keeping the house warm, but I hate you.
Exactly. Yes. So yeah, here we are. We're well, by the time that you hear this or watch it, if you have eyes, you should utilize them by going on YouTube. And there is a whole visual aid to this podcast. We are real people. It's 1 day away from October, baby, spooky season. And
I've already got my autumn decorations out in the living room.
Have you?
Yeah, I've got some little pumpkin candles.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it when everything like pumpkin based starts getting sold and stuff. But hey,
yeah, even my plants have been a bit neglected and they're dying a little, so it looks a bit autumnal. I am going to bring them back to life. But
resurrection. That's also quite
resurrection.
That's spooky.
And also, let's not forget, the day this goes out, a massive Halloween moment happens as well. Is that Hocus Pocus 2 is going to be released on Disney Plus?
Woo! Can
we give a shout out to Bette Midler?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can. Yeah, it's a long time
watcher. Spell on me, Jake.
Yeah, brilliant. You know, I only watched Hocus Pocus for the first time a few years ago, and I've seen it about 5 times since. I love it.
Mate, it's so good. It's so good. It's campy, brilliant child movie mixed with adult themes. It's great, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that casual witch burning.
All the things I like. Camp witch burnings. Count me in, baby.
Yeah.
The other sort of. I haven't got a clever segue for this one, guys. We're going to go into wired propaganda. There's quite a lot of stuff going on.
Wired propaganda.
You said this last week, but these tunes still slay. I'm still enjoying them.
Right.
Had a little jig then. It was great.
In my head, I thought, are we going to do anything for the Halloween special? I'll wear like a blanket, you know what I mean, and put eyes in it like a ghost. Maybe I'm like a piano player, but it's a keyboard actually. Maybe I'll do some organ riffage for the. I'll do a little organ cover if you want.
And I'll just do deedly dee.
Yeah, you can provide the clicks, and I'll provide the pipe organ, and we'll do it. There we go. I've spoken it out, so we get held accountable, right? So that'll make me do it. Cool. Well, it's as usual. Wired Towers. It's a very busy week. There's always at least like 3 bits of good news. We got some news that's so exciting and new, we might not even be able to say it until we're literally getting it signed off right now. We are literally keeping one eye open on our channels.
Yeah, just you keep. It hasn't come through yet. We're safe for now.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Shall I kick in?
Yeah.
So last week we mentioned that Black Razor Records had been started up, which is a record label which Wired have put together lovingly, and the first track that has come out is an Arcade Paradise EP, all proceeds, all sales from that are sold on via Bandcamp go to supporting mental health charity Safe in Our World, which is a video game charity set up by many members of the industry. It's doing some good stuff, and it's dishing out lots of support for people in need, helping people find the right places to find that support. But then also, one of the initiatives going on right now involve funding mental health training for community managers within the game industry as well, and members of the game industry and so on. And that is on its, one round of that happened last year, and it's happening again. And, the support and the amount of people that we've been able to bring on board for that is fantastic. But something to remember is that you can stream this song. Not only can you buy it, you can stream it. And also, speaking of streaming, for content creators, you are not going to get a takedown notice if you whack this track, which is amazing, by the way. It's actually really, really good. It's a legit song. It has massive, awesome talent in the band. And you can stream that on your channel along with your games, your shows, whatever you're doing, without having to worry about any takedown strikes. It's awesome. And speaking of which, I'm going to say it's flattery. Something happened this week where Bandai Namco also announced a label for Europe.
Imitation is the highest form.
We're very flattered. House of Pac-Man. And it's good to be a part of helping lead.
Help the youth come through. Great. No, that's good. And interesting. And I loved the DMCA angle. Very forward thinking and stuff like that. So all right. So that's some. Well, actually, can I just ask you a question? Am I losing the plot? Did you have this last week in person, on your person? Did I dream that you showed me
the LP?
Yeah.
All
right. Cool. I was like,
do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Losing my mind.
We're both unwell.
This is what I mean.
Very lucid.
Yeah, exactly. It's all a haze, this podcast. I'm not going to remember it happened until I see the clips on the Wired Unplugged Twitter account. All right, cool. Right, we got Arcade Paradise EP information there. What else about Arcade Paradise are we allowed to share?
Well, do you want to hit it? Do you want to hit it?
Whoa! Breaking news.
Fresh
from Steve.
It was originally going to be news, and now it's a tease. This is how quick things happen, people.
I didn't know how long it was going to go on for. It's like 2 minutes.
It's great. It's good to have some backing.
All right, do it again. Ready? Go. Breaking news.
You join us here live on the Wired Unplugged podcast, recorded previously on a day that is not today. I am Aaron, and this is Jake. And we have just heard.
Great to be here, Aaron.
That is Steve. Thank you, Jake.
Oh!
This is brilliant.
It's only got 8 seconds left, so...
okay. Something really cool is going to happen for Arcade Paradise fans, and also for people who are into Google Stadia. I can't say anything more than that. We're originally going to say more for that, but it's a tease. Stay tuned. Keep your eyes peeled. If you are a Stadian, keep watch. And also, I do have to say, though, joking aside, say what you want about Google Stadia. People have their own opinions. But the crowd, the Stadians, are so supportive.
Imagine
they are
being
there.
That chilled and secure in themselves.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I love this. I appreciate everyone that's
doing
stuff.
Chads.
Yeah.
They're just like, I don't mind a bit of latency.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got two titles on the horizon for Stadia, and that is Arcade Paradise, which has been announced for the fall. Yep. Those leaves are falling, eh? Yep. And Martha is Dead. Martha is Dead is coming in the winter, and for both of those games, if you want to learn more, if you haven't checked anything out about them, there is an amazing series of developer diaries and insider videos on the Wired YouTube channel. So go check them out. You can learn a bit more about the game, how they were developed. You can't talk to the developers, but they will talk to you and give some good insight on all the hard work they've done across the years to make these games happen.
Yeah, perfect. Good news and exciting news, and definitely a very vague hint there for fans of Stadia and Arcade Paradise. Great work. So, It was the news thing. It's a mind blower now, isn't it? Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
I love it.
I like the little flourishes.
We should do that more often.
Yeah. I'll see what other sound effects I can find now. I'm going to start going crazy. Normally, going crazy with post production effects is the role of our video editor.
Segue. You've met him.
You've
now met him.
I have
You've
now,
had the pleasure.
I have now met my idol. They say don't meet your idols, but I met Curtis.
And it's true.
He was lovely. He was basically like Beyonce, man. He was just so gracious and chill. So yeah, so the story
You're always
is
doing this for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. Something about It's either
a royalist or a Beyonce fan. I don't know.
Yeah, bad time for that, I think. So at the moment, he's him and Steve were on. Well, let me start from the beginning. Where did I meet Curtis? Well, not in some pub in the Midlands. No, that would have been good, to be fair.
Yeah.
So the truth is,
and there's some good places, mate.
Yeah, I was at. Well, unfortunately, I was at the gentrified south of England, and I was at EGX, where there was EGX is like the UK PAX for anyone who's listening who isn't from the UK. EGX is Is it the largest gaming convention in the UK? I think it still is, isn't it?
The biggest differentiator is instead of it being PAX, it's EGX.
That's literally over the
scientific.
It's the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
Deep dive.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Breaking news.
Yeah, 2 letters are different. I was at EGX over the weekend, checking stuff out. Quite a pleasure for me because I'm normally working at these things, but I just thought of, fancied a bit of a jolly, to be honest. So me and my mate went to EGX, and I found the Wired booth, and there was lots of people I recognised there, but no Curtis. And Curtis then tweeted me saying, "I'm starting to think that Wales isn't a real place. Jake is a mythical creature." But no,
and you are.
Well, yeah, but also, I do exist really, and me and. Well, actually, I was just leaving just as I was leaving, I'd given up hope. And then on the horizon, like Gandalf, you know what I mean? Coming to my house.
Dawn of the second day, look to the east hall.
Exactly. I saw a glorious grey beard. Sorry, Steve. And it was Steve and Curtis. And we got a picture together, and it was lovely. Yeah. It was lovely. It was quite funny because I don't want to cast any assumptions or anything like that, but Steve's accent. Well,
I do.
Well, they popped bloody Wired. You lot were next to the Peaky Blinders thing, and I thought, they're just putting all. What are they doing there? What are they trying to say?
Midland's massive.
You're just popping you all in a corner with flat caps and that. I didn't like that. But other than that, it was no, it was great. It was nice to meet Curtis.
Steve looks good in a flat cap, by the way. He rocks it. I don't think he has the razor blades in there, but
like I said,
he has the razor blade on his logo of his shirt.
Exactly. He keeps that thing on him, baby. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got to say, I met Curtis, and he was very, very lovely and nice, and said nice things about me. I don't think he said anything nasty about you though, so that's progress. More on that to come. There might be a chance for you too. We'll see. So that was my time in real life with our fantastic video.
Did you ever watch Paul O'Grady? Right, Paul O'Grady used to have a show on ITV.
The Lily Savage guy.
Lily Savage guy, yeah. So he used to have a show that he would host as Paul O'Grady. It was having a show, and he would have this off-camera producer who was called Bert that he would always argue with off-camera that you never knew existed or not. I feel like this is Curtis, but we now have proof that Curtis is real. And it's not an AI memory unit.
It's an algorithm doesn't edit this. Just a destructive machine in human flesh. So there we go. Curtis, thank you very much for your service. It was great to meet you. Woo!
Curtis is amazing.
Okay. Get on with it. We're going to get edited out in a minute.
Right. Yeah, I know. I'm in the first 2 seconds of the show, and that's it.
Breaking news.
I
had to step out.
Gringos.
Yeah. All right. What else have we got going on? Because there's literally, we're halfway through our propaganda.
Events. Speaking of events, Leo and Maro, so our fearless leaders, they are currently in Dubrovnik, in Croatia for Reboot. And I'm saying this simply because they wanted to show off that they are out of the country at a really cool event, getting some good sun and having a great time.
That's really cool.
It is really cool. It is really cool. But essentially, what this is a very busy time for games in the calendar for for gamers, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of really cool games coming out, AAAs and so on, really cool indie games that have been a long time coming as well. Now, the work never stops behind the scenes in terms of when we look for games, when we look to talk to partners, if we can establish a relationship that comes in handy 5 years down the line. You know, you never know. So Leo and Mara are currently out talking to many developers and so on, potential partners for the future, just to see what magic can be weaved. So it's a really good moment to see what is happening within the space, what cool projects are being worked on, and, you know, offering advice and support in general without taking things on. And it's just a really nice moment for everyone to get together and share knowledge, which most of us should do more.
It's a really nice place to be too.
Dubrovnik. Not to interrupt, but you know, Dubrovnik. Obviously, some of the most recent Star Wars films were shot in Dubrovnik.
Interesting that that's where you went, because I was about to say the House of the Dragon, which is the prequel to Game of Thrones, is currently doing well on Let's Come Back. You know, it's
I was expecting it to not to be good, but I'm enjoying it.
It's very good, right? And just as a reminder for everyone at home, Dubrovnik is where King's Landing of Game of Thrones is. Dubrovnik is King's Landing.
I did not know that.
It's also where they are on Below Deck Mediterranean Season 2 for the Bravo.
Yeah, which I still haven't seen yet, but I hear good things.
Just finally got that sneeze out there. I muted it so you didn't have to hear it, but I want to let you know that I appreciate your support, Aaron. Thanks for holding a conversation whilst I did that. And I think in my moment of madness, I brought out reality TV.
As far as everyone else is concerned, I didn't, because I've been edited out already.
Oh, yeah.
It's just you now. It's
every
just
time I
say you,
show. Curtis is going to edit me saying the word Curtis over it. Thank you, Curtis. So anyway, Dubrovnik, what a place to be. I've never been, but like I say,
I'd love to.
It's weird though, because it's weird. It's one of them, innit? Like, watch some TV show and they're in Dubrovnik. Watching this Game of Thrones, Dubrovnik. Leo, Dubrovnik. Leo, this is a question aimed directly at you, but in a public forum. What's the food like?
That's you.
I mentioned Dubrovnik again and it made me sneeze. All right, let's move on swiftly before I die.
Speaking of Dubrovnik, something...
Not again.
Yeah, there is more Dubrovnik. No, so you last one of the episodes not too long ago, we mentioned that The Last Worker is going to get a simultaneous release with the console versions next year now, instead of having the PC release solo in October. But that doesn't mean the fun train stops. It doesn't. Now, where am I getting at with this? So Jorg, who is directing the game, he is also out in Dubrovnik. And he has, by the time this goes out, he has done a panel talking about video games, The Last Worker, and so on. Content, which he hates. But something cool this hasn't happened yet. It's happening in a moment. Something cool happened. He has announced a brand new game that he's making with a friend for the Playdate. Now, for those that don't know, the Playdate is a really cool little device, and it comes with a crank handle as one of the input methods. And these games are 1-bit, 2-bit games, right? But they're really creatively made. And he has announced a game called Skew. Now, Skew, for those who don't know, is a robot companion that you have in The Last Worker, and is voiced by Jason Isaacs, Lucius Malfoy, yada yada. And this is a really cool side game, shall we say, where you play as Skew. And the way I will describe it, and you can see videos online now, but I would describe it as a slower paced Star Fox meets the special stages of Sonic the Hedgehog. Not the old ones, but the half pipey style ones.
Right, yeah, heck yeah. All right. I know what you mean.
Throw all that together, think of how the crank handle works on the system and everything else, and you will know what to expect. But it looks so cool, and it is my jam, and it's just a nice way to expand the universe and the world of The Last Worker.
It is interesting. I love this kind of... I don't know, it's a hard thing to talk about, the Playdate, because it's what the hell is it? It's like the most retro thing. It's so the company who like designed it is Teenage Engineering, isn't it? They I know them because I'm big into like electronic music and stuff like that. I do that in my
Yeah,
spare
yeah.
time or whatever. I used to do it for a job, and they make a portable synth called the OP1, and it's this beautifully designed little thing. And everything they do is so meticulous designed, so weird and unique, and it's like simplicity. It's dead strange. Playdate's crazy because it's basically through the sleek design of it and getting people in like Jörg who are like obviously quite forward thinkers, but to give them that like weird, quite frankly, limited scope of having 1 bit, maybe 2 bits, 2 buttons, 4 directions, and a crank, seeing what people can do, and it must be quite freeing for developers who have got endless possibilities, like the new Unity, the new Unreal Engine, to go back to that, but with this like modern mindset. It's not like, unironically, like Castlevania when it came out on the Game Boy and Pokemon Red, that was pushing that machine to the max.
Oh yeah.
This is like, I loved it. It's kind of like, what can we do with the least,
Yeah.
And styling it out.
What I really love is that the games that are available on there at the moment, because of the limitations, they have to be really creative, right? And it's limited modernism. That's such a weird thing to say because they are very beautifully crafted experiences, and it reminds me of the best days of the Nintendo DS as well, when everyone was using the touchscreen and the microphone in interesting ways, and the games weren't massive and expansive, but they're just really cool tactile experiences. And I love that about the Playdate. And I love that Jörg, because Jörg, he really loves Mr. J. He loves the Playdate. So for him to be able to have a game on that as well, I think it's great.
And just the other thing I think worth mentioning about the Playdate is that it has this weird, like, not weird, I suppose, but it's kind of subscription model, kind of, not where there's 2 games get added to your Playdate a week.
Yes.
So it's like the games come in incrementally. So it's not like you can just add any game there. It's not like the Android or Play Store or whatever. So there is a bit of that like exclusivity that a man like Mr. J would be into, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Good.
I love it. Like if you look on his Twitter as well, every time he posts a picture of him at an event, his Playdate will be there on the side. And he uses it,
a Playdate
for life. But he uses it as, Flavor Flav style. He uses it as a clock. It's got the date and time on it as well, and it's just perched there, and it just looks elegant and nice, and it fits into his life. But yeah, he loves it, and it's really good to see how creative the boundaries can be pushed with the limited scope.
I absolutely loved it. I love that for him. But also, I'm sure everyone else is going to love it too. So nice one. Guys, we're still in the propaganda segment because it's just that full.
Packed.
Let's go.
It's a propaganda. So we've mentioned this across time, but it has finally happened. DayZ has happened. Black Label 1 and 2 are now released in the wild. People have been getting their hands on them. They are being shipped to people. Amazing. They are arriving. People are saying very, very lovely, beautiful things on social media. Limited run, also sending and distributing to their crowd as well. Everyone is having a good time. The quality is amazing. This has taken such a long time to make happen with the logistical challenges of lockdown and so on. But then also, ensuring that the purpose of this was to do something special and with quality, and to make sure that everything is to spec within the conditions that have been occurring. Has been a challenge, but it's genuinely, they are beautiful. I don't have one to pull out of my collection
hat
at the moment. That is how that's how rare these are though. There's only a very limited number made of each. Once they're gone, and they are true collector's items for those fans who appreciate the games that they are for. And number 3 is on the horizon as well.
So there we go. And so just for anyone who's just completely out of the loop, of course, the Black Label series is these like highly limited, highly curated, special, stylish releases of some of the games.
Uniform.
The wider part. Yeah, they look, like those posh encyclopedias that your nan's got, but just way cooler.
Yeah.
And they're full of like, it's like, remember like DVDs used to have really cool stuff like let's do it, the Lord of the Rings in it. You know, they got the features on deck. But these
The
days,
Lord and the King are back again.
Well, but no, like you get all of that. See, it's nice if you're really into something like Victor Vran, for example. Yeah, you got the game, but you want that little extra. You want something special. You want the cards and stuff. Look at me with all my Elden Ring tats down here. Stuff like this, isn't it? But it's the fact that that's all nicely there and like super limited quality. It's great. So if anyone doesn't know, they could be yours. Literally, they're somebody's right now because they're there.
Finally. No, I do. I will say this as well. You know, this isn't a sales thing, but you know, that they are almost sold out now as well. So you know, if you do want to take advantage, you've got, you know, a couple of days, maybe a week or so to actually get your order in, because they're pretty much almost gone. So if you want something very beautiful as part of your collection, check them out.
I love it. And all right, we've got one final bit of news. Not breaking.
Final thing.
What is it?
Something's happening next week, Jake. Do you know what it is?
I'm going to San Diego.
There is that. There is that.
Your
but
wedding?
also, whilst you're, no, it's not next week. It's not next week. I've got a bit of a interim break.
Warm up.
Yeah. Just in case, you know, and I had this conversation earlier today. Do you know, before you, sometimes there comes a time where you're like, I'm going to take a week off work. And usually leading up to that week off work, you tend to cram a lot in with the allocated time to ensure that whilst you're away, everything runs nice and smooth.
Yep.
And then usually when you're off, because you take the foot off the pedal, the adrenaline runs out and you get a bit ill. So it's nice to have a bit of time.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I'm a bit ill now.
That's it.
So it's just time
to tune up.
To tune up.
Hell yeah. Okay. But that's not it. It's not the Aaron tune-up week. What is happening next week?
It's Steam Fest.
Oh yeah.
Steam Next Fest, mate. Yes.
Back at it again, baby.
Back at it.
Can I tell you, as a Steam Deck owner, the Next Fest is so lit.
Oh no, I can imagine. I haven't actually taken into consideration what Steam Fest is like for deck users now as well.
It's really good. It's got its own
I imagine it's because it's so easy. Just
literally like tapas, isn't it? I'm just like, I want that.
Bit of that.
It's wicked, and it's great. And for anyone that doesn't know what Steam Next Fest is, it's the biannual. No, there's 3 of them now, isn't there? There was one in Feb, there was one in June, and now there's one next week, October, where Valve sort of give the opportunity to developers and publishers alike to launch free-to-play demos for Steam fans and people who want to check out some new games. And it's a great way to check out things before you buy it, because there's games can be a lot of money at the moment, isn't it? And there's lots of games on the way. So it's a huge amount of games. 1,400 demos were released in June for Steam Next Fest in a period of a week. This Steam Next Fest, 1,800 demos are being announced. So you literally, no matter what type of game you're into, what type of genre, search for it. Look, if you want to play a new strategy game, a new tactical game, I don't know.
These events, though, you know, it might seem like there's so much going on, but how important they are to indie developers as well, especially if they're doing something slightly off-piste that isn't mainstream and expected or derivative. You know, to give people that first chance in this festival style period, what that can do to wish lists and awareness. You know, it's kind of like you mentioned, it's kind of like going to a wine tasting thing and then giving out awards and stuff. It's very important to give that people get a first look, and the amount of difference this can make for developers and publishers as well.
It's like if a game starts doing well, it starts to trend as well. And then on a Steam Deck, the first thing I think that comes up is most popular. So you can see. So there was a game called Dome Keeper. No one's ever heard of it until the last Next Fest. It was the 3rd most played game, and it's like a roguelike, but it's great. And like you just said, then it sounds overwhelming when I said there's that many types of games, but just to have this little tip of like I say, use this and go, right, there's 1,800 games, but I'm not interested in all of them. I want to find a game for me, so I'll type in horror or whatever. So it's a great way of finding
Silent Hill.
Cycle. Yeah. More on that in a bit. But as usual.
The time has come
Yeah.
again.
Okay, yeah.
Oh no, sorry. Steamfest is happening. We have wax lyrical that it's happening. It is important, but we also have a game that is going to have a demo in Steamfest as well. And this was just recently playable at EGX as well. It had really nice crowds. People got to play together in co-op, which, you know, from a developer publisher standpoint, you don't normally get to see those moments because they usually happen in people's homes and stuff. So when you see people come together at a show and it clicks with complete strangers as well, you know, it does something fuzzy and funny inside. It's beautiful.
I suppose we can't really say what the game is, but could you?
No, we can.
Oh, can we?
We can.
Hang on a minute.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Hey, Jake, you join me once again for some news. Yeah, we can cut that off.
It feels empty when it's not there. It's so good,
isn't it? Yeah, it's so good. It just gives you that backing. It's like, the power, the power of the news. No, it's Tiny Troopers Global Offensive. Global Offensive? It's not
Global Ops.
Global Ops.
Yeah.
Global
Operations.
Offensive. Sorry, I'm thinking of bloody
CS:GO.
CS:GO.
Yeah.
CS:GO.
Yeah.
No affiliation. No.
Sorry,
very different genre.
Also on Valve, so very.
TT Go.
Yeah.
TT Go.
Yeah.
A demo for that is coming during Steamfest. It's incredibly fun. It's good if you have a family that you want to keep occupied. It has multiplayer, so if you do want to play online multiplayer with friends and so on, you can get together and have a bit of a fun blast. I think when people try it, they will find some major love in this. It's a good time. It's a good time. It's one of those it's not, but it's one of those games that you can play, you know, similar to when you play Geometry Wars, and it's one of those that you could put on and, you know, be involved but not have to be too dramatically intense. It's a really good game to play to chill, to cool down, do you know what I mean? And reset your mind. It's just fun.
I call it like a coffee break game.
Coffee break game.
Yeah. That's it. So you can check that out when Steam Next Fest goes live, which I believe is October the 3rd through to the 10th. Something like that. So thank you very much, Aaron, for the propaganda this week. There was a lot. And now it's time to cast our nets even wider, where we check out what's going on around the world of video games in the news from the internet.
News Weekstone from Google.
All right, so there's been quite a lot happening the last few weeks. We had these directs, these state of plays, these digital showcases, events. Got Dubrovnik going on right now. There was EGX. Curtis was there. So there's been a lot of info coming out, and I guess
breaking news, mate.
Right. So I love that so much. Okay. Right. What
the unsubscribe rate is now through the roof.
No. Breaking news. Right. Okay. So what have we got going? What have you got going on the internet this week, Aaron? Let's.
So I want to kick off with this one. You know, we spoke very recently about the Ubisoft Forward event, and we spoke mainly about Assassin's Creed, but we mentioned Mario plus Rabbids and Skull and Bones was shown off as well, and they gave a date of November, I think it was, this year.
Yeah. And
this is a game that has been, I think it's fair to say that this game has been pushed back quite a few times now, right? And you know, I think everyone was quite happy that they've announced the date. It's been part of this Ubisoft Forward event. This is it. This is going to happen. You even got to play the game as well, and you had a good time, right?
Yeah, it was quite fun actually. It was, to be fair.
It was. It looks great. It looks great. It's been delayed. It's been delayed again to next year. The third time. And is now, I think it's set for release in March
2023. And just as a kind of, I guess it's kind of solemn to say this, but the game was announced in 2017. When they announced it in 2017, they said that the game had been in development since 2013, which means that it'll be in development officially for 10 years before release, which is quite a long time.
Evil 2, isn't it?
Also a Ubisoft joint. So, yep. Well, you know, can I say something? Last week, I said, or the week before, whenever we talked about this, I said I found it very odd that there was so much emphasis on Assassin's Creed, considering their game Skull and Bones was 4 or 5 weeks from launch.
Yeah.
Now that this has happened, I'm kind of like, that's not so much of a surprise anymore, right? Because I was thinking surely the machine would have started ramping up for Skull and Bones heavily.
Yeah, I mean, we're no strangers to how games and delays can come into the picture.
Yeah.
No matter what size company you are, no matter what size the game, some things can come up.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to know what came up after the confidence on display of putting it at shows for it to be playable, and then committing this date. What happened between UB Forward and now, because this wasn't long ago. It's like what really happened there?
I think I've got the scoop on that, but before that, I'd like to
breaking news.
I'll give them a break from it, but I'll say this. I just want to make a quick bit of clarity about something I said. I said something incorrectly earlier. I said that this is the 3rd time the game's been delayed. It's actually been delayed 5 times. I've just Googled it.
Wow, okay.
And the official statement on why it's delayed, I can read it for you. So Ubisoft have said that it's being delayed following player feedback from the recent testing program. So as you just alluded to, I did get some hands-on with it. So therefore, if I, a mere pleb, could go and just play it, surely the QA testers and the people who are part of the insider program, Ubisoft sort of, upper echelon of consumer can play it. Ubisoft have said, well, they wrote in a statement actually, while the game development is finished at this stage, this extra time will be used to further polish and balance the experience following player feedback from our technical tests and inside the program, which happened over the past 2 weeks. It's the right decision for both our players and the long-term success of the game. 9th of March 2023 provides a suitable release window for this very unique new brand. There we go. So yeah, and I mean, like, without trying to sort of disparage or dredge up any sort of negative examples of something like this, I am going to, but with love. Battlefield 2042, the latest Battlefield game, was highly anticipated by Battlefield fans everywhere, and has been, well, I don't think there's any way of saying it other than it's not gone well for EA. There's news swirling around at the moment that a lot of dice have been moved off it, and the fans are not happy. The player base isn't there, and actually, the reason that I bring that up is because it recently came out that there was a ridiculous amount of technical tests and insider stuff, EA insider things, feedback, where it was kind of unanimous that they said, please don't put these hero classes in, bring roles back, and it was ignored. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that's kind of the recent example of a game that ignored player feedback, a multiplayer game that thrives and needs multiplayer on a scale such as this. I don't think there's been another game since that's had a scale as big as these two. And so I guess that's kind of a stark warning as to what can happen if you ignore the player base. And I mean, since then, just to kind of add a bit of positivity into that, I think Battlefield recently put out a thing saying it rolls and now finally coming back some 2 years after launch, and there are improvements on the way, but from what the reports say, it's sort of a skeleton crew now, and a lot of the main talent have been moved on to other projects. So it's a shame because I'm a big Battlefield fan too, right? So with this, they don't have that legacy of Battlefield. They don't have that, well, it was a blip in a pretty strong lineup. This is a new IP. They just said a very unique new brand. So all anyone's going to remember, all anyone's going to like in Skull and Bones 2 is Skull and Bones 1 and whatever. And there's no strength, there's no legacy to sell it. So they need to get it right. And I guess they're pretty worried about getting it right, which is a good thing, but yeah, 5th delay then, 2023.
It's one thing we've spoke about. We're not shy of delays. Do you know what I mean? We've just said, hey, we're putting the last worker back. This is exactly why we're putting it back, because we want to launch with everything else and give a bit more time, right? I think them making that decision to delay it it's a brave and bold move.
Yeah.
Especially once they've set a date, and now it does show that they have listened to feedback, and maybe that feedback is valuable enough that it can elevate what is already there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that fares on the seas next year.
Very good.
Thank you.
That's great. I had nothing to say. The only thing I was going to say is, are we going to see this, or are we going to see Anthony Joshua fight Tyson Fury first, or either of them ever going to happen? That's all
Maybe the same. Maybe it will happen on a boat. Maybe it'll happen on a boat in the metaverse on one of these ships. I don't know.
That would be the worst way ever to get that fight made is if it happened in the metaverse. Don't talk to me about that. Right, let's move on. Right, what have we got next? That hurt.
This is something that we spoke about last week as well.
Yeah.
And this was the whole affair surrounding the Grand Theft Auto 6 and the hack. During that time, between then, a 17-year-old was reportedly arrested and charged with being responsible for hacking Rockstar to obtain the GTA 6 content that leaked online. I've just read something, breaking news, but don't play the thing, that he's expected to plead not guilty at this stage. I don't know exactly why, but this is where we are. A 17-year-old allegedly, allegedly, we should say to the lawyers out there.
A 17-year-old hacker allegedly was arrested in Oxfordshire, UK.
Well, or should we say a 17-year-old who is an alleged hacker?
Yes. Actually,
we know he's a 17-year-old, but we don't know.
We know that the arrest happened in the UK.
In the UK,
yeah. And the official charges are 2 charges of, and I quote, computer misuse. There we go. So, but also 2 charges of breaching bail conditions. Okay. Yes. So, you know that that's what happens. You know, if you're gonna get arrested for one, I watched Better Call Saul. Yeah, they're gonna throw everything they can at this guy. Yeah. So there we go. Just wanted to give you the update. So yeah. Wow, we'll find out together what happens. But gosh.
Yeah. It's what an interesting development. I didn't think it would. I didn't think that if this is proven to be true, that it would be a 17-year-old
from Oxfordshire.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. What a weird turn of events to happen if they happened. Right. Yeah. Cool. But again, stick with us. We do the news, guys. So this is what we're here for. We're here to give you the updates in the news.
And there is something that dropped. There is something that dropped today.
Yeah. Go
on. Just before we recorded. Out of nowhere, and I only saw this because Nintendo posted it. A brand new Skyrim DLC update has been released for Skyrim.
Right.
Out of nowhere, out of the blue.
Right.
Today.
Right.
And it's new quests, yada yada yada. It's called I think the update is Tamriel, the Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
Yeah.
And it's update DLC out of nowhere, and it's so fresh off the production line that I have not managed to look into exactly what this is.
Well, I have.
Jake, you coming with the goods, my friend.
I have. So no. What it is that Skyrim has previously been made available on the Nintendo Switch, on every console known to man at this point. Of course, we're talking about Bethesda Game Studios' 2011 masterpiece, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, which is probably one of the biggest memes in video game history because there's news and updates and launches of it incrementally every year, and we're 11 years on at this point. Mm-hmm. Since then, there hasn't been another mainline Elder Scrolls game. The same development studio obviously went on to work on Fallout and then developing things like that. And of course, there's a popular MMO called The Elder Scrolls Online, but Skyrim is actually the last Elder Scrolls game released mainline by Bethesda Game Studios. So the meme is it was out on PS3 era, Xbox 360. Then it came to Xbox One, then Series, or it's on Android now. You can play it on iPad. You can play it on the Nintendo Switch. It's on Oculus. It's on Stadia, I think. It's pretty much everywhere. Somebody's got it to work on a Samsung fridge, I think.
I feel sorry for that guy. How many times has he taken an arrow to the knee now? Do you know what I mean?
He's done. He is done.
done.
Yeah, he's done. Just cut it off at that point.
Again.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah. So anyway, as you know, the Nintendo Switch is unlike the other consoles that are in this current generation, it's got a bit of a power deficiency, if you want to put it that way. You couldn't play Elden Ring, for example, natively on a Nintendo Switch. As such, sometimes you'll find that you'll get a straight port on a Nintendo Switch, whereas you'll get a shinier version. So the Anniversary Edition, the Tamriel Edition, has now been updated, and you can now upgrade your OG version of Skyrim, which is the one available on the Switch there. And on top of that, on mainline consoles as well, there's been this 7 gig update, and people aren't really sure what that entails, but it's likely connected to this. Now, bear with me, it's a bit of a rabbit hole and it's a whole wider conversation, but
take me on the trip, Alice.
PC gamers, they like to mod things. Modding is changing the version of the vanilla game. If you're a console gamer and you don't really understand mods too much, it's those lawyers, you should never have mentioned that. You go and get that. I use that as an opportunity to say, Curtis is looking at this and he's thinking Jake's ill. Oh no, but I wanted to just show him, look, I don't have COVID. So I was just talking to you, mate. Anyway, so where were we? Right. So look, the long and short of it is mods are, ways that users can go in and change files inside games that create their own user-generated content. It's been around since PC gamers existed, modifying existing content within a game. And it's hugely popular with the likes of Skyrim, immersive RPGs, where, you want to immerse yourself further. So you want to add extra races, extra weapons, quests, things like that. The mod community for fantasy games is incredible. The homebrew content is incredible. And so, quite controversially, a few years ago, Bethesda announced Creation Club, which is a sort of, again, and I use this word already, but I'm going to use it again. It's a gentrified version of modding. So there's a freely available Skyrim, not affiliated with Bethesda, Nexus Mods portal, where you can mod your game. However, if you're a console user, you can't mod. So they've implemented this Creation Club, which is where if you are a modder, you can create a mod, upload it to the Creator Club, or whatever it's called, portal. Creation Club it is. The Creation Club portal, and your mods can be officially affiliated with Bethesda. Then, using Creation Club points, which are just imaginary points that you can unlock by playing Bethesda games. So if you do a quest in Skyrim, you might get 100 creation points. You can buy horse armor, or you can, so it's like kind of it's like an official, like buying skins for things, isn't it? Really. So it's a bit of an unusual thing. And yeah, essentially, Skyrim implemented that in the Anniversary Edition, so even players of the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation and the Xbox can have access to some mods. And so incremental updates, content updates are made to that. So I think it's kind of fixes based around that, essentially.
Okay, that's quite cool. And don't forget, I mean, Wired have a link to Elder Scrolls with Thomas Seller.
Thomas Seller, part of it. Yeah, exactly.
Who created Moonpath?
Exactly, which is a mod, right?
Yeah, a really big, cool mod. Yeah, it became very, very popular amongst the Elder Scrolls community as well.
Yeah.
It was very
I think
accepted.
we speak about that in our episode a little bit, because I remember looking into Thomas and thinking, because I played that. And I was like, whoa, right, there we go. And it's crazy. I love it when, they're legends, aren't they? Remember that mods don't get paid to do this. Mods are literally just people on their computer going, I'm going to make this thing I love better. And I love that. And there's no profiting off it, but this Creation Club, there's a profiting aspect in it. So it caused all sorts of conversations and things like that. But essentially, the long and short of it is that, the Creation Club content is free. This update that they've just rolled out onto the Switch, but you still have to buy it, because you're not just buying the mods, you're buying all of the Anniversary Edition content, so the DLC, Dawn Guard and whatever. So there we go. Hopefully that clarifies it. But interesting to see flipping Skyrim still got life in the old girl yet. Give me Elder Scrolls 6, baby. That's a book a week off work game. That for me, man.
I just love that it still has so much weight that they are confident enough to say, "There you go, today."
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Oh yeah. Not tying it to
prior
a Jeff.
announcement.
Yeah, there's no Jeff Keighley announcement. There's nothing. They just go right. Go on and off you pop.
There you go. Cool.
You're dead right.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
We've got one more thing.
All right.
We've got one more thing, and it's impossible to do this with you and not talk about it. It's been an ongoing thing for a long time, but a new Silent Hill game has been rated in Korea.
Yeah.
What the fudge is going on, Jake?
Well. Listen, I'm allegedly your source of alleged news, and I've got to say that you know what I had been saying a couple of weeks ago in my tinfoil hat was that there have been many. The updated timeline condensed into a simple. I'll see if I can do it in 90 seconds. Allegedly, Konami realized that they wanted to get back into video games, but not really. So they decided, we have the IP, we'll make everybody else bend to our will. We will license these games out. So they started doing open casting calls. If you'd like to make a Silent Hill game, send us your pitches and the chosen few shall be provided with an opportunity. Allegedly, there are a couple games made. Allegedly, one by Bloober Team, creators of The Medium and Blair Witch, and allegedly that's a Silent Hill 2 remake. Allegedly, Sony Japan Studios had allegedly pitched a new mainline Silent Hill game, numbered. And allegedly, the people who made Until Dawn and all of them lot, can't remember what Supergiant, allegedly made an episodic Silent Hill set in the UK. Allegedly. Now, allegedly, we are going to see this announcement this winter. And allegedly, it will be shown off the only way anyone can ever now show off a Silent Hill game, even though Kojima's done it. He did it. He got kicked out. It was taken away from him. Everyone's sad. It's with a playable teaser, a PT. But they can't call it a PT because they can't say Silent Hill PT because everyone's going to go crazy. So they're going to call it Silent Hill The Short Message. It's going to be a short message. And that's what has been listed on the Game Rating and Administration Committee of Korea. They suggest, not us, they suggest that Silent Hill, The Short Message, is coming from a publisher who have published Konami games before called Uniana, and the game has officially been rated. So, for the folks at home, Aaron, like, what does this mean? Like, what does it mean when something's rated? And what's the difference between something being rated and like something being just spoken about by somebody like me or somebody posting a thread on Reset Era or something?
Yeah. Something being rated means that a product, a game, has been passed through to a rating board to get the ratings that it needs to be published legally. This is content that exists. It has to be playable. It has to show the extent of what the player experience is so that the appropriate rating can be attributed. So if something is given an age rating, it is likely that it is something real that exists.
Right, because you can imagine the problems that you would have if you didn't own the IP Silent Hill and you put a product in front of a ratings board, a product that has to be so complete it has to be assessed and audited like an exam being marked by a teacher, called something that's called Silent Hill: The Short Message, that doesn't belong to you. You can imagine how bad that could be. It's like me and you got put in a game that we've made together called GTA 6 through a ratings board. That's dangerous, isn't it? So essentially, a ratings board thing, it's how whenever you hear about leaks, it's a ratings board.
I have an interesting just to bring this into perspective as well, into how deep those rating boards goes as well. I have a wide story about an age rating process, and it was for Close to the Sun.
Yeah.
And in that game, once you get aboard the Helios, the massive giant ship that the game takes place on, you wander through some atmospheric locations. Then once you walk into the first main area, some doors shut behind you. And then there is written massively in red lettering is a word, and it is in red lettering, right?
Yeah.
And as part of that, the age rating team said, because this is human blood that has written this thing across the door, this means that it includes blood and gore, and a very specific subset within the criteria that they go through. And then what we had to go back with, and what the team had to go back with, was essentially that isn't human blood. To write that word that big would take more human blood than what is there. But also, if you follow this trail, you will find a paint can in the game, a red paint can. And that made the difference between the game being something more.
Yeah.
It's little things like that can sway and tip the boat.
And it affects everything because if you've got an 18 rated game, a show like EGX, for example, or PAX, you can't show your game publicly. It has to be behind like a white box here in the UK. So like, for example, Warner Bros. Put out Back 4 Blood last year, which is a game that should have had a big show. Whoa, cool. But no, it was behind these white boxes and, a bit of a Kanye West at Glastonbury kind of moment. And so there's all sorts of things that people can do to, but essentially, and you're dead right. Like for Total War games, for example, have it where they put out for ATP the blood and gore pack. So it's optional. So that way the game doesn't get rated 18, and that helps them a lot. And you can imagine they probably profit from it. Well, they definitely profit from the ATP. But there's stuff like that. And essentially the ratings board is like, when you go on Netflix or whatever and it says warning, violence or whatever, the good stuff, So the only other thing I guess to mention about this is who the flipping heck are Uniana? Well, do you know?
Oh, do you know?
I know, yeah.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Uniana are a South Korean publisher founded in the late 80s who are the prime providers of the manufacturement of amusement machines for Konami.
Okay.
The pachinko machines. But they do not just make that. They have been regularly publishing Konami games in Korea, and like they did the free to play, what's that football game? PES.
Pro Evos. eFootball.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
All right, PES.
So eFootball 2022, which is now going to be 2023 because it keeps getting delayed, is being published by Uniana.
Okay.
Just so you know. So there's been I think in Korea specifically, they've published about 7 Konami games, and that's it. I mean, that mixed with the fact, the only other thing about ratings boards is like trademarks as well. We don't look too much into it because things can happen. You can just refresh a trademark just so you've still got it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're mobilizing that IP. It's just to keep it in your possession. But Konami did, recently also refresh the Silent Hill trademark to include. Now, here's the only reason I'm bringing it up. They were refreshing it, and the adjustment was made to include its usage with VR headset applications.
Okay.
So look, honestly, who knows? In an ideal world, this is a playable teaser. Like, do you know who do them really well? Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 had short playable demos that were available in VR and available on modern console. They were like a little prologue to what's going to happen, and that's what I'd like to see.
It was distilled essence in a small portion. It's not necessarily part of the game. It's
great, and they reference it in the mainline games. The last 2 Resident Evil games have been fantastic, but it's the way that they've utilized this tease, and it's the playable teaser that Kojima did was utilized well, and I can't imagine them doing a Silent Hill without that and saying, it's like our own PT. So who knows? But that is big news for Silent Hill Fog Watch. I think, in Silent Hill, when the world turns, they have to fog horn.
You get the sirens.
I think I'm going to get the siren on air now for next time.
Do it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And listen, do you know what? We're having a bit of a break, you and I. And when we come back, we'll be on this side of Halloween, which will be a perfect time for some spooky uki talk.
Season 2.
So let's see, season 2. Right? Okay, exactly. So look, this is it, guys. I can't believe we ended it on Silent Hill. But look, we did it.
It had to.
We did. Thank you very much, Aaron. Thank you for all of the news and
31 episodes, man. 32 technically with episode 0.
Exactly, but 31 sounds good. That's how many days are in October
Yeah.
and Halloween and that. So look, thank you very much, Aaron. Have a nice wedding and that. We'll see you very soon. Thank you, everybody at home. If you want to get involved, you can tweet us at Wired Unplugged or Wired P for pumpkins. Yes. Good. Pez, which is. Bye-bye, everyone. See you very, very soon. Bye.
Wired Unplugged.